I edited for a channel that shouldn't exist. People assume working in horror is fun. You get to play with jump scares and creepy music, distort some faces, slap on red filters, and rake in views from bored teenagers at 2 a.m. That's what I thought too, before I found the Smile Room, before I edited for it, before it saw me back. Let me rewind. I'm Kyle, 28, underpaid, overcaffeinated, and trying desperately to make a living off freelance video editing gigs. I got a degree in media production and a heap of student debt I try not to think about. After graduation, I bounced between odd jobs, wedding reels, local commercials, cringy influencer vlogs, until the market dried up and I ended up scouring the darker corners of Craigslist. That's where I found the listing. Looking for skilled video editor, horror experience preferred, remote work, pay negotiable, NDA required, discretion mandatory. It was vague, no links, just a burner email. But I was desperate. I responded. The reply came 10 minutes later. No greeting, no name, just a zip file of raw footage and a note. Apply your style, no overlays, only edits that enhance what's already there. Return within 24 hours. I opened the footage. It was unsettling. A single static shot of a tiled room, bathroom maybe, dim lighting. Something about it felt off, but I couldn't figure out what. There was no motion, no music, just the faint hum of the camera. I watched it 5 times before I noticed it. On the left edge of the mirror, for exactly 4 frames, a shape, a face, grinning, popped in and vanished. My heart kicked a little. I boosted the contrast, slowed it to 25%, added a flicker effect, and exported it as a 2-minute horror short. I sent it back with a polite note and my rate. An hour later, I got a reply. Hired. Start now. Attached was a PayPal transfer, $500. I kept telling myself, easy money, creepy footage. Maybe this guy was a performance artist. Maybe he was trying to build a viral ARG. The next file came 2 days later, then another, then 5. I started getting them every other day, short, simple clips, always a different room, always the same style, no context, no credits, and always somewhere in the frame, hidden or not, the smile. That's what it became known for, the channel. It was called the Smile Room. I finally found it one night while Googling frames from a clip I had just finished. There was a Reddit thread talking about the channel, people theorizing what it all meant. No one knew who ran it. There was no intro, no voiceover, no real branding, just static shots of eerie, mundane places and that damn grinning figure that always somehow appeared. A popular theory claimed it was AI generated. Another said it was cursed footage uploaded from the deep web. Someone else insisted it was a serial killer's video diary. I knew the truth was simpler. It was me. I was editing it, I was making it happen, and then I started seeing places I knew. The third video that made me stop sleeping properly was titled Red Room Number 7. It was a grimy basement, nothing unusual, except it was the basement of my friend Eric's old house. I recognized the water-stained concrete wall, the crooked fuse box, even the broken step at the far end of the frame. Eric moved out years ago. That house had been empty. So how the hell did they get that footage? I emailed SMR001 directly for the first time. Where are you getting these clips? That last one was somewhere I recognize. No reply. The next video was called Personal Spaces. I clicked it immediately. The first shot, my high school locker room. Then a darkened hallway I swore was in my current apartment building. Then, finally, a frame no more than 1 second long of my bedroom door, shot from the hallway outside. My door. Closed, the camera perfectly still. I felt like I was being watched. No, I was being watched. I disconnected my webcam, covered it, shut my laptop, but the damage was done. That night, my phone buzzed at 3:09 a.m., no number. Just a notification. New upload from the Smile Room, the editor. The thumbnail? Me, sitting at my desk, editing a video. The footage was recent. I had no idea when it had been filmed. I watched myself, hunched over my laptop, headphones on. I scrubbed through the video, horrified. The final few seconds showed me pausing, looking toward the camera, and smiling. I didn't remember doing that. I checked my door locks, every window, nothing. The next morning, there was a new email. Do not contact this address again. Keep editing, or we'll film more. They knew. They'd been in my apartment. I didn't know how. I didn't even know who they were. I stopped editing immediately. I tried going dark, wiped my drives, threw out the external, changed all my passwords, even stayed with my sister for a few days. But the videos kept going up every week. New ones, different rooms, some in other countries, some down the street. Always that smiling figure, taller now, more prominent. Sometimes just outside the window, other times inside halfway through a door. Always staring, always grinning. Then, 3 nights ago, a new upload dropped. No title, just an image, a black screen with a white circle. Inside it, a smile. No lips, just teeth, human, but too many. I haven't slept since. I think it's not a person behind the channel. I think something uses it. Maybe it always has. A mask, a doorway. I don't know what it wants. Maybe attention, maybe fear, maybe something worse, but I know this. When you see a video of a place you recognize, don't click it, don't share it. Channel 13, The Lost Kids of Whitaker County. Most people don't remember the local TV stations that only ran late at night. The kind of static-laced garbage that showed low-budget horror flicks, grainy infomercials, or weird educational programs that made you question your own memory. In Whitaker County, Virginia, we had Channel 13, but only if you turned your dial just right, at just the right time, on just the right night. I didn't think it was real. I thought I made it up. But it was real. And I have proof now. I only wish I didn't. Let me start at the beginning. My name's Ian, I'm 33, divorced and a documentary junkie. Not the clean, polished Netflix stuff, more like the analog rabbit hole kind of guy. I collect old tapes, lost media, weird regional shows, and footage that feels like it shouldn't exist. I run a small YouTube channel, Echo Archive. Niche, but passionate viewers. A few months ago, I was working on a series about forgotten kids shows. You know the kind. Puddle Lane, Peppermint Park, those eerie, almost Lovecraftian things designed for toddlers. I wanted to cover obscure regional ones. That's when the memory hit me. A flash, a gray puppet, a picket fence, kids sitting quietly, not laughing or clapping, just watching. I remembered the name then, The Gray Man's Garden. It aired late at night on Channel 13 in Whitaker County. I remember watching it once when I couldn't sleep at my grandparents' house. I was maybe 5. I remembered the weird silence, the long pauses, the way the puppet's mouth didn't move right. But here's the thing. No one I asked remembered it. Not my cousins, not my dad, not my childhood neighbor who's now a cop. Everyone told me Channel 13 was just static. My grandpa used to call it Ghost Channel. It wasn't supposed to exist. So I looked online, and it was there. Buried under garbage search results and clickbait videos, I found it. No profile pic, no description. Just 4 videos. The first one was titled, Welcome Back to the Garden. The thumbnail was a puppet, stitched mouth, standing behind a paper tree. My hands shook as I clicked it. It started with a low hum, no intro, no theme music, just the puppet staring at the camera for 15 long seconds. Then it spoke in a whispery, broken voice. In the garden, we wait for the roots to feed and the children to sleep. Behind him were 3 kids, real kids, not puppets. And they sat on a log and didn't move. They didn't smile. Their eyes looked tired, vacant. The second I saw them, something twisted in my gut. The girl in the middle had freckles, long hair, a red dress. I remembered her. Cassie Martin. She lived down the road from me when I was a kid. She went missing in 1998. Police dogs, search parties, helicopters. She was never found. It was the first time I learned what missing person meant. And there she was, sitting in that video. Looking directly at the camera, I paused the screen, zoomed in. It was her, not someone who looked like her. Her. I felt dizzy, like the room was tilting. I'd convinced myself it was some kind of deep fake or coincidence, but then I rewatched the video and noticed something worse. She blinked, once, and mouthed the word, help. I backed away from my desk. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I kept trying to rationalize it. Maybe it was some twisted arg. Maybe someone used her image. Maybe it was a hoax, but the video didn't act like a video. There was no pause bar, no resolution controls. It just played, like a broadcast. The next day I got an email from a burner address. You're looking too deep into the garden. No greeting, no name, no subject. Just that. I tried reloading the channel. It was gone. Vanished, like it had never existed. So I went to Whitaker County. I told myself I needed closure. I hadn't been back in years. My family moved out after the economy collapsed. The town dried up. One blinking gas station, empty storefronts, locals who don't make eye contact. I stopped by the old public library, Asked the woman at the desk if there was ever a Channel 13. She stared at me like I'd asked where the unicorns grazed. "There's no Channel 13, she said. There never was. But later that night, as I sat in the motel room with the ancient TV, scrolling static with the analog dial, I found it. 13, clear as day, the screen flickered, black and white, a quiet forest, leaves falling in reverse, no sound. Then the gray man stepped into frame, life-size, no longer a puppet. He turned toward the screen and held up a sign. Ian. Then, you brought them back. I yanked the plug out of the wall. That night, I dreamed I was sitting on the same log with Cassie and the others. The gray man towered behind us, whispering into our ears even though we couldn't move. I couldn't even blink. He said we were planted here. He said the garden needs caretakers. And then I woke up outside, sitting in the grass, hands muddy. I have no memory of how I got there. The next morning, I got a notification on my phone. YouTube, new video from Thornton. The garden grows again. I watched it once. It showed my motel room. Me asleep. Then me waking up and walking out the door. Then the camera panned and showed a hand reaching out from under the bed. Cassie's. I've tried deleting the video, but it won't disappear. I've tried calling the cops, but there's nothing to report that doesn't sound insane. I've tried reaching out to her parents. They moved years ago. No forwarding address, no record. So I did the only thing I could think of. I uploaded everything to my channel as a warning. But the video is corrupted. No one else can see what I see. They think I'm acting. They call it a found footage series. But I'm not acting. And tonight, a new channel popped up in my recommended feed. No name, just a thumbnail of a gray puppet behind a picket fence. The title? Welcome, New Caretaker. I didn't click it right away. The video just sat there on my homepage for hours, mocking me. Even after I shut down my laptop, the title hovered in my head like a whisper I couldn't quite unhear. Welcome, New Caretaker. The word clawed at something primal in me. It wasn't an invitation. It was a command, a designation, like the role had already been handed to me, like I'd already accepted it the moment I searched for the garden. Around midnight, I gave in. The video was only 3 minutes long. I told myself I'd just watch, maybe take notes, document the descent. But as soon as it started playing, I knew I had made a mistake. It wasn't a recording. It was live. It opened with a black screen, then grainy footage like a camcorder from the late 90s. I was back in the garden, the real one, now. Not a cardboard set. Dirt. Trees. Red leaves fluttered slowly, unnaturally, as if time had forgotten how to behave here. And there were the children, lined up in rows, some standing, others kneeling like they were in church. All of them silent, blank-faced, eyes wide, and in the front row next to Cassie was me. Younger, maybe 7 or 8 years old, wearing a Ninja Turtles shirt I hadn't seen since childhood, staring straight at the camera, not blinking. Then the screen cut to static. For about 10 seconds, the screen stayed black. I thought it had ended until I realized the static wasn't coming from my laptop. It was coming from my TV. My smart TV was on. I never turned it on. The screen was pure white noise, hissing softly like it was breathing. Then the sound warped and deepened. Words emerged. He is patient. He is always watching. But the roots grow faster in fear. I bolted from the apartment. I drove aimlessly for an hour before pulling into the parking lot of a 24-hour diner. I just sat there, heart jackhammering, trying to piece it all together. Had I lost it? Was this all some elaborate prank? Was I just sleep-deprived and broken from the obsession? Then I looked in my back seat. A red leaf. Vibrant, wet like it had just fallen. And sitting on my passenger seat, a gray button. I haven't been back to my apartment since. I've been couch hopping again, rotating between 3 friends' houses who think I'm going through a breakdown. They're not wrong. I look like hell. I can't sleep. I dream in static. I hear low whispers when I pass TVs in stores or see the fuzzy distortion of a bad cell signal. But what truly broke me was this. Last week, another video appeared. I wasn't even online. My friend Rob, one of my oldest buddies, texted me and said, "Bro, you're on some creepy puppet video. That's you, right?" The link didn't work. The video was already gone, but Rob had screen capped it. There I was, standing in a clearing, surrounded by the kids. My face was pale, lips stitched into a smile with black thread. The title of the video? Caretaker Accepted. And Rob said something else. He said in the video, I spoke. My voice was warped and slow, like it had been dragged through a cassette player, and I said something over and over. The garden is never full. The garden is never full. The garden is never full. I've since destroyed my laptop. I keep my phone off unless I need to use GPS. And even then, I swear I see the app icons flicker every now and then, like something is trying to crawl back in. I don't know what Channel 13 was. I don't know if it was ever part of this world. But I do know this. It's real now. The streamer who played with real lives. I used to make reaction content. I know, lame, oversaturated, cringy at times, but I had a niche, obscure horror game streams and ARG deep dives. My followers loved it when I reviewed or reacted to the weirdest corners of the internet. I'd explore old live streams, hidden game lore, or unlisted footage that people claimed made them sick. So when I got the email tip about the unlisted playlist, I didn't think much of it. The message came from someone named Birdwatcher1992. No subject, just a single sentence. He's not pretending. Check the last video, but don't watch it alone. Attached was a link to a YouTube playlist with no name, literally blank, just an underscore where the title should be. I clicked it. 5 videos, all unlisted, all uploaded by a channel with no profile pic and the name Tell Me When It Hurts. That name should have been my warning. The thumbnails were just grainy stills from what looked like a stream. A man's face half lit in shadow, wide-eyed, staring into the camera like he was being watched, or doing the watching. The titles were timestamps. There were no descriptions, no likes, no comments. All the videos were exactly 30 minutes long. No outro, no fade-ins, just raw, uninterrupted footage. I hit play on the first one. It started with the man, mid-30s, gaunt, dark circles under his eyes. Behind him, a white wall, a single desk lamp, and what looked like a homemade soundproof room. No posters, no furniture, just him. He sat staring into the camera for several minutes without speaking. Then slowly he turned to the side and said, "This is day one. If you're watching, I need you to know I'm doing this for them." He held up a piece of paper with 5 names scribbled in shaky handwriting. I could make out a couple, Brandon, Samira, and what looked like Ellie. "Birdwatcher," he whispered. "You said this would keep them safe. I'm trusting you." Then he began to harm himself, not for views, not for attention. It was methodical, like following instructions. Each act was done while looking into the camera, cold, detached, like he wasn't even inside his body anymore. I stopped halfway through the video. Not out of disgust, but because I recognized the guy. His name was Theo Langston, an indie horror game streamer from the early 2010s. He used to go by Theo Plays. He was never big, just a small, kind community, mostly into RPG Maker horror games. I used to watch him in college. Friendly guy, genuinely loved spooky games. He'd do these long Halloween streams where he dressed up like a vampire and cracked dumb jokes. Then one day, he vanished. No announcement. No farewell stream, just radio silence. The community assumed burnout. Some thought he got doxxed, others thought he OD'd. But there he was, years later, gaunt, empty-eyed, doing whatever this was. I watched the rest of the videos. Each one escalated, not just in pain, but in ritual. He started drawing things on the wall in chalk, geometric symbols, eyes with too many lashes, spirals inside mouths. He'd chant things under his breath in languages that didn't sound real. Sometimes he'd stop, listen, and whisper, "Not yet," or "I'm not ready." But the final video, that's the one that wrecked me. It opened differently. A static camera feed. Not a webcam, more like security footage. The angle was low and fixed on a corner of a real room now, not the white box he used before. There were children, 3 of them, huddled in the corner shaking. Their eyes were red, like they'd been crying for hours. One had a bloody bandage around her hand. The door was sealed shut behind them, padlocked from the outside. Then Theo appeared on camera. Only now, he was wearing a mask. Not a theatrical one. It looked like it was stitched together from paper and cloth. A crude smile, huge black X's over the eyes. He moved slowly, like a puppet being dragged by invisible strings. He didn't speak. He just stood there. Then the feed cut to black. No sound. No title card. Nothing. Just silence for the rest of the video. I remember staring at the blank screen for the full 30 minutes, paralyzed. When the video ended, I got an error message. This video has been removed for violating YouTube's terms of service. Then the whole playlist vanished. Even my history didn't keep a record. I immediately searched for Theo Langston, hoping to find anything: old interviews, tweets, clips. His channel was gone, not inactive, deleted. Every mention of Theo Plays redirected to 404s. Reddit threads about him had been wiped. Even the Wayback Machine failed to load cached pages. And then something terrifying happened. I went to my YouTube dashboard and found a new private playlist in my account. Titled "I Didn't Create It," inside were 3 videos. The first was footage of my own apartment shot from my bedroom window. The second was a video of me sleeping. The third was titled "Ellie is Still Waiting." I haven't opened that one. I can't. But last night, I saw something. I was walking home from a corner store, and across the street, under a street lamp, I saw a man, thin, gaunt, hunched under a heavy coat. He wore a paper mask with a stitched smile. He just stood there, unmoving. I blinked, and he was gone. My followers think I'm pulling an elaborate stunt, that the Theo Langston thing is just a deepfake AR I'm cooking up, that the videos were fake, the playlist staged. They don't believe the kids were real, but they were. I found their names. 3 kids missing from towns in 3 different states: Ohio, Georgia, and Maryland. All disappeared the same summer. Theo vanished. Their names matched the list from the first video. I sent everything I had to a journalist friend, and even he couldn't trace the source of the footage. The metadata was scrambled. The videos were uploading from somewhere outside the US, but rerouted through layers of dead-end proxies. Now every day I check my dashboard, terrified to see a new playlist appear. I don't make videos anymore. I've shut everything down. But it doesn't matter, because last night my phone lit up a message from an unknown number. "She's tired of waiting. Say the words. Begin the stream." And when I turned my screen off, my reflection in the black glass was wearing that same paper mask. Subscriber 666, the channel that predicts your death. Before all this happened, I thought I was invincible online. I'd built a small but passionate community, about 22,000 subscribers, mostly from my deep dives into online legends and tech conspiracies. Nothing too tinfoil hat. It's just the right amount of creepy to keep people clicking. The dark side of TikTok trends, dead internet theory, real or hoax, stuff like that. I branded myself as the rational skeptic with a taste for the macabre. My name's Ezra. My channel was called Bite-Sized Terrors. People liked me because I didn't believe in the things I talked about. That was the whole shtick. Debunking creepypastas with humor and research, showing how everything had a logical explanation. Even the infamous Subscriber 666 myth. You've heard of it, right? That cursed channel people used to whisper about back in the late 2000s YouTube era. Supposedly, when your sub count hits exactly 666, a mysterious channel appears in your recommendations. One you can't search for, can't block, can't forget. I made a whole video about it. A sarcastic breakdown, called it Devil Clickbait, Debunking Subscriber 666. I even mocked the voice in the alleged video clips, doing this cartoonish demonic growl, "You're already dead." Classic me. It blew up. Got over 200,000 views. Everyone thought it was hilarious. That was my last video. The sub count started creeping up faster than usual after that. Algorithm blessed me, I guess. I was watching the numbers climb obsessively. On the night I hit 665, I actually said to my chat, "Hey, imagine if it's real and I vanish tomorrow." People spammed laughing emojis. Someone donated $6.66 with a message, 66 in 3, 2, 1. It ticked. 666. That's when the stream froze, but not like a glitch, like a moment held in place. My frame stayed locked in OBS. Chat went dead, but I could still move, still talk. My face just wasn't changing on screen. Then it cut to black. The window minimized itself. I didn't do it. My hands weren't on the keyboard. In its place was a new browser tab, opened on its own, a YouTube channel. No icon, no name, no upload history, except one video. I stared at it. The thumbnail was static, literally TV snow. I hovered my cursor over it and the thumbnail moved. A video preview. It showed me. In my room, from behind, as if the camera was inside the screen looking at me through the monitor. My blood ran cold. I clicked on it. I shouldn't have. It started like a found footage film. Staticky. Low res, but not old. The timestamp was tomorrow's date, exactly 24 hours ahead. The footage showed me asleep on my couch. I was breathing heavy, twitching. There was no audio, just that dreadful hum like a CRT TV left on mute. At the 041 mark, something changed. The angle shifted. No cut, just moved forward. It was like the camera had a will of its own, creeping toward me, close enough to hear the sound of my breath, even though no mic should have picked it up. And then at 59, it reached my ear. I flinched, on screen, in my sleep. At 111, it cut to black. Then the screen displayed 3 words, glowing red. You saw it. That's when the lights in my apartment flickered and the stream ended. I don't remember falling asleep. I woke up 3 hours later with a splitting headache and a dull ache behind my eyes. My phone was dead, my internet was down, my screen still had the YouTube tab open, but the video was gone. This content is unavailable. The channel? Erased. My heart sank when I checked my YouTube student account in 66. Still, frozen. I gained 5 more followers overnight. Analytics showed that, but the number hadn't budged. I tried refreshing, logging out, using my phone, still stuck on 666. I joked about it the next day on Twitter. Guess I'm stuck with the devil, kind of metal. But the joke didn't last long because I started getting the emails. The first came at 6:06 p.m., subject line, day 17, no sender name, no reply option, just a video file. I opened it on my second monitor, recording with my phone in case it glitched again. The footage was taken from behind a bush. A camera watched me walking to the grocery store. The timestamp was earlier that same day. Same jacket, same bags in my hand, same look over my shoulder. I hadn't realized I'd look back. But in the footage I did, as if I sensed someone. My skin crawled. Day 2 showed me eating dinner, inside my own kitchen. The angle? From the corner of the ceiling where there were no cameras. I checked, tore my ceiling apart. Day 3 was my bedroom. Me lying in bed, eyes open, staring up, not blinking. That's not how I slept, unless I wasn't sleeping. By day 5, I stopped leaving the apartment, stopped making content. People on Discord kept asking where I'd gone, but the subscriber count stayed at 666. Unchanged, unmoving. I called YouTube support. They told me the system was normal, that lag in subscriber count display could occur. I told them I wanted to delete the channel. They said that was not possible at this time. Not possible. Day 6 came. The video this time didn't show me. It showed my mom at her house, in the kitchen. Someone filmed her from outside the window. I hadn't spoken to her in weeks. We'd had a stupid falling out over money. I called her. She was fine, thank God. But I didn't tell her about the video. I told her I loved her, though, in case. Day 7 was a DVD, not an email, a real physical DVD in a black envelope slid under my door. No label. I didn't watch it. I won't, because the last thing I saw before I threw it in a drawer was my reflection in the screen, and it blinked at me. Before I did. Now, every morning at 6:06 a.m., I get a text from a number that never appears in my call history. The message is always the same. Upload complete. Your death is scheduled. Would you like to preview it? I don't respond. But last night I opened my laptop and found a video autoplaying. It was me, sitting here, typing this. And behind me, tall, thin, pale, with that awful frozen grin, was a shape watching over my shoulder. The title of the video? Subscriber 667 has joined. I looked at my counter. Still, 666. The mukbang channel that ate the internet. I used to love mukbang videos, not just watching them, analyzing them. I wrote a whole master's thesis on parasocial performance and the simulation of intimacy in mukbang culture. Sounds pretentious, right? But I meant it. The way people formed relationships with strangers through eating, through consumption, fascinated me. So when I started my own research-focused channel, I leaned into that curiosity. I called it Feast and Theory. Half of my videos were deep dives, like the history of ASMR or binge culture. The other half were reaction essays, where I'd break down viral mukbang videos and ask questions like, why do we crave watching others overeat? Is this comfort or control? What happens when the act becomes monstrous? My audience was small, academic, curious, but devoted. That's probably why someone sent me the link. I got the message on a Friday night. It was just a Discord DM, no profile picture. The user's name was a string of Korean characters I didn't recognize, followed by a single phrase, "They are eating again." Attached was a YouTube link. The thumbnail looked wrong. Not graphic, just off. Blurry, with desaturated colors. A figure seated at a table, face turned just enough that I couldn't make it out. The background looked like plastic, like the inside of a greenhouse or a meatpacking warehouse. The video was titled, "So Hungry, Eat With Me." Generic. Clickbaity. I hovered over the thumbnail for a preview. The autoplay preview didn't work. That was the first red flag. YouTube always plays a preview. I clicked it anyway. It started with silence. No music, no intro, just the figure, a woman I think, sitting behind a table piled with food. Not the usual colorful fast food. This was brown, pale, raw, heaped in glistening masses. I couldn't even identify what most of it was. Meat, yes, but not store-bought. She was thin, unnaturally so. Face gaunt, eyes slightly too far apart. Her mouth seemed stretched, like her smile had been surgically widened. The video had no jump cuts, no edits, no talking. She just began to eat, methodically. Hands first, then utensils, then back to her hands, ripping, tearing, chewing. For 37 uninterrupted minutes. No eye contact with the camera, no nods of enjoyment, no moaning or yummy sounds like most mukbangers do. She didn't acknowledge the viewer at all, but I felt like she was staring through me. After it ended, I checked the uploader. The channel was called 먹는 것들, Things That Eat. No other videos, no subscriber count, no comments. But I knew YouTube. I knew how to inspect the page's backend, so I did. What I found made my skin crawl. The video wasn't hosted on YouTube's usual CDN. It was embedded from an external server, hidden behind layers of redirect code. Some kind of private streamer feeding through the YouTube interface, but not actually hosted by it. I checked the IP. It bounced through South Korea, Japan, then routed through a dead server in Moldova. The source domain had no owner. I recorded my findings. I was going to make a video about it, mukbang from the dark web, or something equally clicky. But the next day, my analytics changed. The spike I woke up to 48,000 new subscribers. My videos had barely cracked 10K before that. I thought it was a glitch, but the comments started flooding in. Hundreds of them. You found her. You saw her eat. Do you feel the hunger yet? The more you watch, the closer she comes. I tried deleting the original reaction post I made, the one where I mentioned her video. It wouldn't delete. Every time I clicked remove, it said, "This content is in use." In use by what? That night she uploaded again. New thumbnail, new pile of meat, but this time the food was different, recognizable, human. I don't mean that figuratively. There were fingers, a half-skinned face, ribs, still warm from the steam. I tried to close the tab, the browser locked. I yanked the Ethernet cable, still playing. She looked up directly into the camera and smiled. I screamed, threw the whole monitor off the desk. The video kept playing on my laptop screen. It had opened on its own. I didn't know what to do, so I drove. I left my apartment, spent the night in a gas station parking lot. Every screen inside that store, buffering. I didn't go home for 3 days. When I came back, my living room smelled like meat. There was nothing there, no signs of entry, but the smell lingered. And worse, my reflection wasn't right. My eyes were wider, my teeth sharper, like my body was stretching to match hers. I watched her again. I didn't want to. I just couldn't help it. The videos had evolved. She wasn't just eating anymore. She was whispering. Words you could only hear if you turned the volume to 100 and slowed the playback. I was hungry before flesh. I lived in the wires before you gave me shape. The internet feeds me now, and you feed the internet. I found a Reddit thread, r/deleted YouTubers. Someone else had seen her. A guy named Marcus, former vlogger. Went dark in 2021. His last post was, "She doesn't stop when the video ends." Then someone else replied, "She ate my dreams, then my dog, then my voice." Every user who engaged in that thread, gone. Deleted accounts. One of them, the one who DM'd me the original link, was listed in a 2019 Seoul police report. Missing person. I stopped eating. I didn't feel hunger, I felt hers. Every hour, a pain in my stomach, like it was opening, not cramping, stretching, like something was digging from the inside out. The more I tried to resist, the more my body changed. Hair fell out, teeth loosened, my jaw wider than it had ever been. I wasn't just watching her channel anymore, I was becoming it. The final video, it uploaded without my consent, titled So Hungry American First Time Eater, thumbnail, me, pale, sunken, gaunt. Comments were already pouring in. She's feeding again. Welcome to the feast. You'll never feel full. I haven't posted in a week. I've locked my fridge. I've torn out every screen in the apartment, but I can hear her chewing in the walls, and I've started dreaming in taste. If you're reading this, don't look up to her. Don't watch her. Don't taste what she offers. Because the more you see her, the more you crave her. And once she's inside you, you're never alone again. Thank you for watching or listening. These weren't just stories about cursed videos or haunted channels. They were warnings. We think of YouTube as harmless, just cat clips, reaction videos, harmless rabbit holes of content. But beneath the surface, there's something deeper, something hungry, something watching us as closely as we watch it. Each of these channels started with a simple click, a moment of curiosity, and that's all it takes. The wrong video, the wrong frequency, the wrong person staring back through the screen. I've learned one thing through all of this. Not every channel wants subscribers. Some just want witnesses. Some want devotion. And a few, just a few, are feeding on more than attention. So next time your recommended page shows you something you've never seen before, something low res, something quiet, something off, don't click. Because once you see it, it sees you. And in this corner of YouTube, you don't unsubscribe. You vanish. Thanks for watching. And if your screen flickers later tonight, don't worry. It's probably just buffering. Probably.